Hello there, moron army, Flakers. It's gimmeabreakman, king of the morons, here to answer another one of your emails. Today's question comes from a guy named Maple, which the only Maple I know is actually Aussie 78's dog, which makes me think that that's one smart dog. Because when I met it, I thought it was pretty retarded, actually. No offense to truly retarded dogs. Anyway, today's message comes from a guy named Maple from Australia, who has quite a few questions, so I'll go through his list and I'll put the email in the description below. And he says he's just come from the video Don't Come to Japan If You're This Kind of Gaijin, which I made with Warmoth Strat Mully. And, you know, it was just off the cuff video. We are basically bitching about friends of ours here on YouTube who we like, but who have made mistakes coming over here. For example, not respecting the simple fact that you should be on time to work or you're going to get fired, and not bringing enough money. This guy starts out with, I have $4,000 Australian dollars in my bank account being depleted at $80 per week because I have to pay boarding fee to my parents, which means his rent is 320 Australian dollars a month. Pretty good, I guess. Good kid, paying your parents. That's good. Don't be a complete leech, a mooch if you can help it, or do, and then become an obscenely wealthy person later, and at least your parents won't feel so bad. You know. I quit my job to do what I want to do with my life, which is to be independently develop and distribute small computer games. So he goes on to talk about how he's done this and he hasn't really gotten paid for any of these video games yet, but he's entered contests and he's gotten rave reviews and he's doing great. And he thinks he can successfully kickstart his career doing this. And his goal in the long run is to move to Japan and do this. I don't know why you would want to move to Japan to become a video game developer, especially a lot of people seem to do this. I mean, I'm pretty sure all those guys just work in rooms, you know, like you do, like just sitting there. And these days with the internet, you can pretty much work anywhere you want. You'd have to go to, I mean, personally, I would go to Bali or Thailand, but the thing with those countries is the internet connection is really slow. But if you're in a country that has high, does Australia have good internet connection? I have no idea. But if you are in Japan, then it's pretty fast. I think parts of the States too, pretty fast. Anywho. Yeah, I don't know why you want to come to Japan. Okay. So he says, my Japanese is minimal. He's working at it. I can read and write hiragana and katakana. Barely worth mentioning, he says, which, congratulations for you that you realize that, because it really isn't a big deal to learn that. It's just memorization. Then he says, I'm at 700 kanji, and he's picked it up from the Heisig method, which is a pretty good method. Heisig method. I use the Heisig method, you know. Not just the Heisig method, but various methods. And the Heisig method is good, but you have to buy two rather expensive books, and the first one just teaches you how to write it and the meaning, and the second one teaches the pronunciation. Kind of a scam, if you ask me. It should all be in one book. Why do they do that? Kind of a pain in the ass. But whatever. But anyway, he's getting somewhere. He's got 200 vocabulary with very basic sentence structures, and that he picked up from school and outside of school. He dropped out of school because he was failing, and he had a choice of going back to school and taking one course or one or two courses, or dropping out, and he chose to drop out. I would say, if that was your choice, bad choice, maybe if you can go back and finish, I would do it. I think having a high school diploma from any country is pretty basic, you know. Yeah. Then he says his highest qualifications are D's and E's on a low-level high school certificate. I don't know what that means. I mean, you guys get certificates? Does your high school diploma have like a grade? American diplomas are just, you know, unless you do really, really well and you graduate, you know, at the top of your class. I think you get the expression with honors on your certificate or diploma. But usually we just get a piece of paper, diploma. That's all. Anyway, then he says, I'm really shy until I get to know someone and get comfortable around them, and I don't go around whipping out my manhood at every girl I see, which is good. And he can be submissive when it comes to getting into situations I shouldn't be in. That being said, I've been heartbroken enough to not simply fall in love with someone. And he goes on to say, in summary, that he doesn't think with his dick, to be blunt. And I was thinking about this, you know, as I was making this video, or reading this message. A lot of people, and when I say that, think with your dick, I don't just mean your penis, because girls think with their penises too, and I don't mean penises. I mean your heart. You know, a lot of women make decisions based on love, And that's basically the same thing guys do. I mean, they think, some of them, I'm sure it's not love. Some of them it is actually just their lust. But for some people it is. They make I would say, decisions that you will later regret because you give up on your dreams. And this guy has decided he's not going to settle down or let a woman get in the way of his dreams, which is to become a good video maker. What do you call him? Video designer, programmer, video maker. I don't know what you call him. Video game maker. He says, I'm 19 years old next week, and he's male. He's living in Australia. I'm flexible when it comes to my approach in achieving this goal. The sooner it happens, the better. But if it means I have to get some sort of qualifications first, or work at a job other than my goal to start out in Japan, I will happily do so. Also, I was just growing out my hair, but I don't mind having it short if I need a job. I know I had really long hair when I got to Japan, like this long. Just tied back, no glasses. Can you imagine? And as soon as I got to Japan, I thought, I'm not going to get a job with this, American Indian look. So I didn't have glasses, right? I said that already. And I got my hair cut, and I got a job. And then later, when I became head teacher of a large, to be undisclosed English school, I decided to grow my hair out again. And everyone was cool with it. Like, oh, yeah, I wore nice shirts, and I had long hair. So you can have long hair in Japan, don't get me wrong. And you can have tattoos in Japan, don't get me wrong. But first you want to get established before you start doing that. Give a good first impression. So he's got a good attitude that way. Let's see. If I need a qualification first, I would be very interested in attaining it via study in Japan, which is a great way. If you get the money and you can afford school, I think the best way to come at first is to come to a language school, or university, and study language at a university. And you get connections that way. Sorry, my nipple is itchy there. They usually don't itch, but just today. The right one's okay. Okay. But I don't think I would be eligible to begin with. I think you would be eligible for a language school, and you do need money for that. And if you do go to a language school, then you can get a visa from no matter what country you're from. If you go to a language school, the language school will sponsor you, but they're quite expensive, a lot of them. I think in Nagoya, I think you'd have to pay at least 600,000 yen, which is like $7,000. Is that for a half year? I think that's even a half year. I'm not even sure. But let's see. I'm very interested in starting out life in Japan. I don't care if I have to start out on one bowl of cheap ramen per day in the cheapest, smallest, crappiest accommodation possible. Only thing is that there must be an internet connection. He sounds like Mark. I'm not sure about the legalities of selling my own stuff from Japan. I don't know either. But if you're selling it on the internet, I think you just get a PayPal account and don't worry about it. Yes. Let's see. My plan so far has been to finish and sell my first proper game and be confident that before I move to Japan, I can successfully sustain myself in a comfortable environment first. That's good. Good first choice to do. Number 2, find out what I need to do about getting the longest visa I can. Probably the longest visa you can is a working holiday visa. I think that's 1 year, and I think it's renewable. But I'm not sure. If anyone knows, please leave it in the comments, because I don't come from a country that does that. So I don't care to look it up. And the other thing you could do is get a student visa, which I think you can get up to a year and probably renew. I don't know how many times. And with a student visa, if your teacher is okay at it, you can work like 20 hours a week or something, which is usually more than enough to make money. But you have to keep going to class. If they find out you're not going to class and you just use them for the visa, you may lose that visa eventually. Let's see. Only move to Japan with a guarantee of at least 10,000 Australian dollars to set up and a way to get back. Reserve. Oh, yeah. So he's got money to get back if he fails, which is good. Always have enough money for a plane ticket home in case there's an accident or an incident and you have to get home suddenly, or you kill somebody and you have to escape. Last part. I'm starting to see a common theme, though. It seems that the main J vloggers were able to get there and set up with under $5,000. Yes, although they have qualifications to teach, yes. So now I'm wondering if there's an alternative plan I can follow. This being said, I don't even know if my current plan is followable. In any case, any advice you can give me would be golden. If you need any more information, don't hesitate to ask. Sorry for the long message. That was it's like 3 pages long, actually. So it looked like you're doing okay. Since you're Australian, I would say get a working holiday visa and, go from there, right? Or get a working holiday visa, come over here, try to make some connections at a school, meet people, meet other foreigners before you come over too, right? have somewhere to go, have some follow-ups go, have some idea. Don't just come blind. Unless you have lots of time and you have the money, you keep knocking on doors. I think you're doing okay. I don't really know what else to say about it. I would say the best part of your plan is that you're planning on not wasting time. I won't say wasting time, but you have a dream and you're determined to follow that dream, and you're not going to let women or other things get in the way, which is good. So best of luck to you. I don't really have any other advice. If anyone has any advice on this one, or how to break into the game industry, please let me know, or let him know. You can contact him, I suppose, through me, if you want to talk to this guy personally. Anyway, that's the first of a few, first or second, I don't know. I'll be making a few of these videos today. So let's go on to the next message and see if their question is as intelligent, or this wasn't a bad question. I didn't want to pound my head on the desk, but I'm sure some of the ones coming up will be that way. So watch out for those. See you in the next one.